There we are. A bit closer, a bit more intimate. But yeah, this is back to back from the last video. Just wanted to get the movie for October 3rd out the way. Um, Actually, a double feature. Um, the only way they fit thematically, or I guess multiple ways actually. Both foreign, Spanish specifically, and both of them about, I guess, ghosts and that sort of thing. Uh, but I guess just real quick, just to add a bit of time, I've always just really appreciated foreign horror. I don't know if they usually do something a bit more crazy, and a lot of the time it's like based off folklore from different places around the world. And I mean the first one, very much based on a folklore, more likely than not. Witches specifically is what causes the haunting. So kind of interesting on that angle. And then the second one, it's just like a Ouija board sort of horror movie based on true events, and I'll get into that. Uh, but yeah, gonna start with the first one. Don't listen. Again, Spanish foreign. It's on Netflix, so just go ahead and watch it. Watch it with. I hate the angle. There it is, a bit better. Um, but yeah, watch it with English subtitles and listen to the people speaking in Spanish. It'll do you some good. But I mean, as a whole, I'd say decent. Again, this is one of those foreign movies where it's like, nothing too crazy. Um, there's a few good things that this movie does, and I think it's just like suspense building. It does a good job about suspense building. But oddly enough, sort of moves by like really quickly, almost too quickly, which I guess is eh, could be seen as a good thing if you just kind of want to watch it and log it and get it done with. But in my opinion, kind of just moves too fast in a sort of bad way. The movie feels like it's going in one direction, and then it kind of just like cuts off a whole plot line. Um and then it's more of a commentary on grief, which I guess sort of ends up working in its favor because that thematic through line is consistent throughout the whole movie with our main characters at least. You have the dad character who loses the son early on, so it's grief on that, and eventually the wife, so double grief on him. And then with the two other characters that show up in the movie to support the father. This other dad who's like a paranormal investigator, and his daughter who's just sort of helping him out. They're going through the grieving process, losing their mother and wife. So there's like this shared grief, and the witch that's causing this like paranormal happening is sort of like using that grief to manipulate them. Um, so I mean, just like with that as a as the setup, all around just decent. Again, suspense building. Lots of like just little like eerie moments. It does a good job of kind of doing that thing, that movies do, or horror movies specifically do, where it's like, oh, like is that something in the background, sort of thing. Which I like personally. It's good to just like kind of like keep that eerie atmosphere, especially because most of the movie takes place in a in just a house, so like one main setting. So to kind of have these like smaller moments of you trying to like get adjusted and like see what's fully going on works in the movie's favor, and that does happen pretty consistently. Um, but yeah, and then just like smaller, creepier things. Uh, Spoilers, dead cats. So if you're not really into like seeing dead animals and stuff, I wouldn't suggest it. Um, but a lot of the visuals aside from that, pretty good. There's a kill earlier on that's quite detailed and interesting. Again, just like on a visual level with the effects and whatnot. Almost surprising because usually foreign films, especially ones that are on Netflix, tend to be a lower budget, and I'm sure this one's no different. Again, considering it's like one location, very simple. I believe like there's like maybe like two or three different like sets, and I mean you stay in the house for most of it. The house and the surrounding area. There's like one other time where like the guy goes to a library to meet the paranormal investigator guy, and that's like the only other time they get away from the house. So yeah, again, lower budget, which is why I was surprised by most of the effects, which look very good, and believable, just to keep you interested. So this one's definitely just like a recommend. I feel like I would recommend most foreign films, good or bad, honestly, just because it's interesting. I think to see what goes on in other parts of the world, like see what not even what they consider scary, but just how they make films and how it's a bit different to the stuff here in America, but also in ways how it sort of apes some of the things here in America. I mentioned like a plot line ending earlier on, and that's with the son character because that's a complete misinterpretation almost. No, no. Yeah, so the movie's called Don't Listen. That's like the American translation, but in Spanish it's called Voices. So I mean, you can look up either one, and I think you'll find it. Um, but yeah, so in the beginning, it's almost like a what do you call it? A Sixth Sense sort of thing. The son character can hear these voices, and like they're telling him to like draw out these pictures, and later on you find out the pictures are soothsayering like people's deaths, or like predicting people's deaths. And it all kind of comes together like at the end. But in the beginning, you see it very briefly, and it sort of predicts the first death of the movie. Um, but it's weird because I feel like you could get a lot of mileage out of that, and like that's where some of the horror would come from, like in an American movie. But they just kind of kill off the kid really early on, which again surprising and just kind of shows that a foreign movie isn't afraid to just do things a little different from how you would expect. But yeah, again, just gonna recommend this one. Just if you're interested in foreign stuff, go ahead and give this a watch. Fairly short, if I remember. It's like hour 40, more like an hour 30. It goes by really fast. Uh, some good effects, some decent scares, and if you're into ghost stuff and uh, kind of like minor like ritualistic things, because there's a witch character, then I feel like you'd be interested enough, and it's a good watch. Uh, Probably wouldn't rewatch, but just give it a shot. And then the second movie is Veronica. This one is a bit weird to me because I'm never really into movies that are based on true events. Just any type of movie, honestly. And with horror, I think it's especially bad because sort of bizarre in a way where you're kind of making this movie, horrific movie, based on people suffering. A little weird, in my opinion. Sometimes, especially because I mean, because it's a movie fictional. First of all, they kind of you know exaggerate the events to make it more appealing to an audience. And I feel like this movie's no different. I feel like it's worth, if anything, researching the case that this is based on. Because they play in the beginning too, the call that the officers got in Madrid, about what was happening in the movie. But for the most part, just solid. Again, it's another kind of like ghost possession thing. Like the girl's playing with the Ouija board. She summons a demon, and the demon starts attacking her family. Again, also kind of based on grief as well, because she only gets into the Ouija board to communicate with her father, and her home life isn't that great. She's like an older sister, and she has to look after her siblings. So, and the mother isn't really around because the mother works to provide. So basic setup, and all that. And honestly, as far as like scares and stuff go, solid again. Similar to Voices, or Don't Listen. It does that thing where certain the creature is like kind of haunting in the background a lot of the time, and this movie plays a lot with like a creature shadow sort of panning around and stuff, on walls and whatnot, like using that to like grab onto the kids, and that's all very visually interesting. I quite enjoyed that, but again, it's a bit bizarre because based on real life events, and there's this like large fantastical element to it all. So I don't know how I feel about that really, but I mean, if you're sort of into that, I feel like a lot of people do get interested in horror movies, especially when they are based on true events, or loosely based on true events, because I feel like that makes the horror feel more real. The fact that it could happen and has happened technically. Um, but yeah, again, just solid overall. Uh, Again, just gonna say recommend, just because it's foreign and you should give foreign films a chance. Also on Netflix, watch it in Spanish with the English subtitles. And I mean, yeah, just real quick, I'm gonna have to go back to it just because it bugs me so much. Because in the movie also has like a prequel to it about one of the supporting characters in the movie. Um, bit bizarre to have this movie based on true events and then just to keep like playing off of it as if it's some playground for other ideas. It's a bit scummy in my opinion. But what can you do? But I mean, that's about it for October 3rd, at least. Let's see what October 4th has in store. So yeah, again, both of them just gonna recommend them. Voices slash Don't Listen, and Veronica. Uh, Both of them pretty like contemporary, I think. Like you know, came out in the last few years. But both of them just kind of solid watches. Maybe single watches. Honestly, don't imagine myself rewatching them, and I wouldn't imagine anybody else kind of goes back to them. But again, if you're just into like ghost stuff, paranormal stuff, then you'll be into these movies. They do a good job of suspense building, as I mentioned, and just like light scares, and they do have like decent little like twists in them. So go ahead and watch both of them. Honestly, I feel like I enjoyed them more because I wasn't watching them by myself. I was watching them with other people, so that kind of adds to it. You can talk about stuff obviously whenever you're with other people. So being able to like kind of talk and not necessarily joke, but yeah, like joke here and there, but just seriously talk about like what the movie's doing good. Sort of like helps the overall enjoyment. So I guess in that sense I'm biased, but uh, still, I just say watch them. But yeah, take care.